So I'm gonna try and surprise my roommates by putting up the two swords on the wall before they get home, because they're both away in their respective home states. Kind of like they have it in How I Met Your Mother, which is not necessarily a sentiment that I enjoy, but I know Sam is really gonna appreciate, and probably Tim. And it's funny to have two swords on your walls, and I feel like it's a good addition to our space. Even though I'm the one making this call. See how this works. First I have to clean the swords, actually, so I'm gonna get it. Okay, that wasn't Sam. I honestly have no idea when they're getting home. Index is in my other thing. Yes. So I found these two swords on the side of the road when I was walking with my best friend Ryan. And who am I to pass up a good plastic sword, let alone two? So I figure these will be really good. Now I think something I'll have to try and keep in mind is that we may from time to time want to take them off the shelf, or not on the shelf, but take them off the wall and play with them. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and bend these hooks so that they can be held up by them, so that in the event that we need to fight each other or fight someone else who walks through the door, we'll be able to access them. I think that's kind of an important detail of this. So for that, I'm gonna need to bend this metal hook kind of a little bit so it can fit the thickness of the sword. Let's see. Where are my nice big thick pliers? Probably gonna use, yeah, I want those thick pliers. Things and pull out my kit. Because I don't necessarily want to nail them up. I don't want to nail them up on the wall for a couple reasons. One being that, then we couldn't get them down and play with them. I think that would be the first and foremost reason, now that I'm thinking about it. And two, maybe it's not a great idea to nail things in the wall when we're renting the apartment. And in the event that my landlord should see this, he won't get upset. Hi, Steve. Hello. Let's see if this has done anything to improve it. It's alright. I mean, the question still is, will it be long enough to hold the weight? Another option, I guess, is kind of sticking it right here. That could work. That could actually work much better. So we'll see, because these are sticky. So I can take them off if need be. I don't really know where the sticky ends for those particular ones are, but I've got some extra long sticky things, so I think I'm just gonna have to cut them up and do what I have to in that way. Where's my, yes. It's like my favorite scissors. Makes it powerful. That power scissor. Now see, something you want to keep in mind is that this is the wall side. If you look, let's see if I can focus in on it. Yeah, there we go. It says wall. Now I know it's backwards because this is flipped, but just believe me that it says wall if you can't read backwards. So yeah, what I have to do is I have to stick this to the command hook, stick this thing, and just kind of, I like to press on it a little, like work it into the skin, I would say, of the hook. And yeah. Now let me mark out, because I changed my idea for where I wanted the positioning of this to be. So I'm just gonna real quick mark that out. And what's great about this idea is that if need be, if I need to clean these swords again, I can absolutely do that anytime I want. So this is kind of the layout that I want. You know, let me just real quick make sure it's the angle that I want, because I have this second sword that's going to go over it. See? Now I want that to be kind of like this. Can you see that? Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the way I'm going to do that. Let's see. If I have this right about here, just hold that in place. Better yet, I will stick it to the wall. Hopefully this works. Again, we do have a lot of spare sticky things, and these come off the wall very easily, which is nice. So that if I mess up, you know, it gives me space to try again. Now I have to hold this to the wall for about 60 seconds. We'll see where it lays. I think it might be different than my original markings, as I'm only one person and have a limited amount of tools and, you know, geometry experience. So I kind of have to do a lot of things just by eyeing it and, you know, trial and error, which is normal, which is completely fine. So let's see. Yeah, that should work nicely. That should rest right there. Now it may end up being a little bit delicate, which I'm okay with. And in the event that it's too delicate, I may just try and add more of these. So the next one I'm going to do is a little higher up. Now, being that this is a thinner piece than the handle, I'm going to maybe squeeze this in a little so that it holds it a little tighter, which will be good because we don't want these to just fall off the wall all the time. You know, then what would the point of having swords on your wall be if they just are constantly falling down, you know? Like, I don't think that would be something that would be stood for in, you know, times where it was really important for people to have swords on their walls at all time. You can't have a clatter being made all the time. You know. Now this is very tricky, and I think I'm gonna need a different tool for this. I might actually use a wrench, which I believe I should have. back and forth on where I want to keep my wrench. Because I don't use it all that often. But, you know, in these sort of situations, I do need it. And I was on something where I assumed I was going to have to change the, put a basket on a bike. That ended up not happening. They did it for me, which was nice. But, you know, I was a little disappointed I didn't get to use my wrench. So, here we are. Now let's see, what is the best way to do this? See, I have not bent this kind of metal regularly. I usually have wire that I bring and I use on sets to handle this. Now I think I'm just gonna go back to my tried and true method of, no, I don't want that getting in there. So if I break the plastic, that causes me a whole slew of other problems that I don't want to deal with. So that's kind of, you know. Now let's see, I could try kind of crushing it in here. I'm sorry this is so difficult. I know I'm taking up your precious spare time. Now this just doesn't wanna work for me. Let's see if we can get it with some needle nose pliers and my handy double-sided pliers. Let's see if it'll, you know, because I'll be able to get in here a little easier, but the issue is the metal is just so tough, you know, and really this is what happens when you need to do things on a budget, as I often do. There we go. There we go. Oh, perfect. Okay, now here we have the perfect loop for what I was trying to do. This is great. Perfect. Perfect. Now, again, we have our sticky paper. Where did I put here? I put it here. Very handy. Very handy. It seems I'm going to have some leftover sticky stuff. So we'll see what I use that for. Perhaps I use that for a different project and I put that aside for another day. That would be good. I can put that in my mini kit. I have a mini kit and then I have a mini kit, which the mini kit is like things that I just carry around in a bag on set, you know, like if I'm going on a very small shoot that I don't need a lot of things, I'll just pack my mini kit. And then my mini kit, which is not really what I call it more my smalls kit. It's filled with kind of X-Acto knives and smaller tools that I use just on a regular basis. You know, got some good stuff in there. It's kind of one of my favorite aspects of my kit, which is really nice. So again, I'm just working this into the plastic skin, so it really connects and fuses. That's very important when you're doing this. Now I'm gonna test it again, just like I did before. So I'm gonna put this here and make sure that this is gonna go in the exact spot that I want it to. And that should be perfect, right there. So let's see, I can actually mark that because I can see it this time. So that's awfully nice. Now here's the issue. I can't see the mark at all. So I may have to do that again, but if I look very closely, I have a magnifying glass that I'm going to use now. Okay. So this magnifying glass is one that I actually found in my parents' house, but I use it all the time for everything that I need to. I use it for bug hunting. I use it for looking at small things. I use it for mostly bugs, pretending to solve mysteries, you know, that sort of thing. I have not actually solved a mystery with it, but I've come close. If you look closely at our refrigerator, I have the timeline of a mystery that I was trying to solve. So I'll just look here, and I see this part of the line is a little bit thinner, which means I would have had less reach making it. So I'm going to say that that's our line. And that is along the top of our little guy here. So again, I'm just going to peel the paper, side that says wall, and I'm just going to stick it here and kind of hold it for a little bit. You know, we've got a loose piece of tape that is still up there. Now, this is a little against the rules of what you're supposed to do, because you're supposed to wait a full hour before hanging up whatever you need to hang up. But I just want to test that this will work, and look at that, beautiful, it does. So it's time for our second sword. Now, I may put it back up there again, just to you know, gauge where it is. But first I'm going to do a little bit of erasing because I've drawn some fine lines and I don't really want those up there. So here I have this eraser. I'm not really sure if it's going to work. It seems like a shitty eraser, but we're going to do our best because trying is the most important part of this. It's trial and error. Everybody makes mistakes. So if I mess up, that's okay because I can try again with something else. It's all about trying to be resourceful and, you know, looking for tools you may not have. And look at that, it works beautifully. Now, in first grade, I got in a fair amount of trouble for drawing on a wall in pencil, which was not really what happened. It was more that I was holding a pencil up to the wall, and then I sort of got pushed and moved, and it made a mark on the wall. And they brought me to the principal's office and everything, and they were very concerned and very upset with me. But me, as a 6-year-old, I gathered myself, you know, pushed back the tears, and I said, well, we can just use an eraser. And lo and behold, it worked. So it's the things sometimes that are most obvious that are the solution to your problem. You know, it's the things you don't see immediately. And that's something that's, I think, really beautiful. When something's very obvious and then you realize it, and it's, you know, and it solves your entire problem. I'm a person who likes to overcomplicate things a lot. Like originally I was going to use nails on this wall, but it turns out all I need are 2 of these little hooks, and it looks beautiful. So now we're going to do our second sword. Second sword is going to go over top of this first sword. So we'll see how that works. Now something that's pretty important to me is making sure these 2 are as aligned as possible. Now I don't have a ruler, so it's going to be a little bit of guesswork. But again, we're going to do our best. So I'm just going to scoot this along here, kind of until I get into a position I like. Now this seems a little off. Again, I want this placement to be good because this is something I'm trying to do for both my roommates and myself. So it's important to me that it looks nice and doesn't bother me every day. So that's a big thing for me. If something is gonna bother me when I look at it. So I really want this to be nice. I'm just gonna take a look here. Is that, that looks pretty nice. I would say from this angle, however, I think it needs to be a little more like this. No, I'm gonna say right here is my ideal. It's my ideal line. Just mark the corner here. Mark the corner here. Right here is where I'm gonna want to place that second plastic bit. So we've got our marks for our second sword, which means we can take this one down because I don't want to exhaust the tape before it's ready. So again, we're gonna bend this a little so that it fits the sword. So that we can, now this might be a little too bent, you see, got kind of a 90-degree angle, which I don't necessarily want, but let's take a look and compare it to the other. Okay, it's bent a little too wide. So we're just going to squeeze it in a little bit. Hopefully I don't have as much trouble as I did with the last time I tried to squeeze it in like this. But, you know, it's very important that it's the right angle for this. Now this looks a little slightly better. You can see it's less of a 90-degree angle, slightly more of a J, which is perfect for what we're doing, and that kind of aligns perfectly with the other one. So that's what we're gonna do for that. Just going to cut this. Once again, work it in to the plastic, really align it there. I'm going to use our other swords, and I think I'm going to clean them once again before I put them up, because better clean than sorry, am I right? As the kids say. All right. Okay. So I am going to want this right around here. Just make sure I've got it. The right crevice here. Perfect. That's gonna be my spot. Right about there. I'm gonna get a little higher so that it just really aligns right there. Yeah. Now I think, where is my corner supposed to be? Right here. Right there. So that's going to be my spot, I think. I can also just attempt to do it perpendicular to this guy here, because that may also work. Again, it's just trial and error, guys. It's always just trial and error. So we'll see. This kind of looks about right. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the wall part of the tape. And then I'm just gonna stick it to the wall in the spot that I've decided on. So that's gonna be right about here. Should align parallel to the other one. And then I think what I'm going to do is really stick it on there. Align the other one here parallel to this, because I think that's going to be my best option for getting these swords as perpendicular as I can. You know, you want that nice 90-degree angle. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with geometry, so I'm really just playing it by ear and doing my best. All right. Now this was what we had trouble with last time, if you remember, from a few minutes ago. Now I'm gonna let this one be a little wider, because this one is, as you remember, it's going to be kind of on top of the other one. So we're just gonna have this one here, again trying to get it to be sort of a mirror image of its neighbor. Now I don't think that this is going to be a perfect perpendicular piece, but you know, we do what we can. We all just do what we can, and that's what's really important. Here we are. I'm going to tape this again to my sticky bit. All right. Now, if you notice, we've got a few other things on our wall. We've got this nice little Swedish flag, and we've got a little Los Angeles postcard. Now, what used to be here was a poster that said "Imagine Peace." Now, that's a big part of the reason why I moved in here originally, because there's this movie called Birdemic Shock and Terror, and they have that poster in it, and I just thought that was so funny. So I decided to live here, pretty much based solely on that fact. Nothing else, really. But we had an issue with some bugs, with specifically what seemed like bed bugs. And during the extermination process, there was a hole made in this wall, which goes back to the mystery I was trying to solve. That was the mystery. Still to this day, no answers really, but I have my theories, which maybe if you talk to me about it personally, I will give it to you, but it's not something I feel comfortable saying on camera, you know? It's a very important thing to be aware of the things you say. That's something I struggle with. But, you know, you take every day as it comes. There we are. Now I'm just going to hold this here for a minute or two. Now I'm a little worried that this may be a little high up, but we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I take it down and then we adjust. So I'm going to go ahead and put up our first sword that we've already measured, And now I'm going to try the second sword, which place it right here. Look at that. Okay. Now look at that. I would say it's a little tall. One sword kind of comes up a little higher than the other, which is going to bother me for the rest of my life. But I would say we did a pretty darn good job. Now, as for how solid it is, I would say, you know, they may fall from time to time, but that's something that I can fix. Now we're gonna let those sort of soak in to the wall, and I am going to once again clean the swords and just do my little eraser thing, my eraser trick, if you will. It's always a good thing to know because eraser takes off a lot of things, a lot more than you'd expect it to, which is really nice. Do you know that eraser actually works on colored pencils? Yeah, that's right. It's a myth that eraser doesn't take off colored pencil. It's a myth. Go figure. You know, sometimes the things that they teach you during recess just aren't true. And it's just, you live life and you learn. You know, you learn what's good for you, and you learn what works. You learn your system. So we're just going to let that dry for a little bit. And I'm going to spray these with my little bottle of Windex here. Got that nice spray sound, that's very nice. And just shine it a little. Now this is the side that's going to be facing out, so I really just want to get those sort of marks off. Not marks, but little just bits of gunk that accumulated from being on the floor for a while. Alright, I'm gonna clean this. And I would say this is, you know, it's not real metal, but it does have that lovely shine to it. It's got a very unnatural shine, you know, but I will clean them again once they go up for real. And look, it can be used as a bounce board. See, it's very practical. It almost has a sort of underwater effect. That's very beautiful. That's very beautiful. I like that a whole lot, and I'm going to keep that in mind. Now I already cleaned this sword, so I'm going to let it sit for a little. And there you have it, you know. Once again, I'll put them up so you can see my kind of finished result. But I really do think this is something special, and I think it's a very nice addition to our home. So I hope my roommates like it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was educational. And yeah, there you have it. Just two very nice swords on the wall. All right. Have a good night. Thank you for watching.